Everybody, welcome to Discover San Diego, the show that takes a deep dive into all the beautiful enclaves in our wonderful city. Let's hear what our guests have to say about San Diego. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yost. I'm here with my guest, Amy Saffler. Amy, good to see you.
Thanks for having me today.
So we know San Diego. We love San Diego. We want our audience to love San Diego as well. And so I want to talk about a special little part of San Diego, an enclave called Alpine. Amy, tell me about Alpine.
I happen to love Alpine. It is a fabulous community. Not only is it sweet and intimate, but it has the support services, which we all like to have, of course, in our surrounding area. We have a Barron's, which is the nice local grocer. And when you go into a store like that, people recognize you and know you, which is what makes it feel like a small town. We have our big Albertsons, which of course, Albertsons is a staple, makes life easy. We have our little stores like a laundromat and a dollar store is what it is. And then we have a beautiful library. It was remodeled not too long ago, and it's now a big kind of local San Diego County library versus our little intimate schoolhouse library, what used to be there. There's a community center. There's an honor wall to honor our veterans there.
That's great.
There's local parades. Little July 4th, there's going to be a big event, so there's community things. Alpine Women's Club, a beautiful historic building, as well as Alpine Historical Society. So it kind of has a lot of everything, from little intimate, quaint, cute restaurants like Janet's and Alpine Tavern to the brewery. Alpine Brewery's there. And so people who live in Alpine have that small town. You run into your neighbors, you see people. People aren't so rushed. You actually get to know the checkers, yet you have the support services and aren't too far from town.
Do you think that when people consider moving to Alpine that they're going to get more bang for their buck, they're going to get more land, or is it you're still going to find those basic developments like condos, apartments? Tell me about the real estate out there.
It's actually quite textured, which is nice. There are apartments. In fact, there's a brand new apartment complex being built in pretty close to the center of town. There are condos, a few townhomes. There's some HOA communities from the really on top of each other little homes. They aren't patio homes, but little homes, to even the ranch, which is behind a gate, and it has acres of land and very, prestigious. And then there's a lot of varied land. We have small homes on large parcels. We have newer homes on little lots. The hardest thing, interestingly enough, to find in true Alpine is space for like RVs and toys, because it's actually on a hill. So there's beautiful views. People own hillsides, people own land, but sometimes finding RV parking is difficult out there.
You know what? That's funny to consider that when you think Alpine, you do think toys, you think space, but being on a hill, it does make it difficult.
It does. But to answer your original question is you do get more bang for your buck. Being a little out of town, 20 minutes from Costco, up the hill or down the hill, it creates a little more cost efficiency. So you can get a bigger property with a little more land than you could closer to town, for sure.
Amy, thanks so much for joining us today talking about wonderful East County Enclave, Alpine. For all of those in our audience, make sure you tune in and watch us next week. Everybody, welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yost. I'm here with Miguel Nunez. Miguel, good to see you.
Thank you, Jason.
So we know San Diego. We love San Diego. We want you to love San Diego as well. And today I'm talking with Miguel about a special enclave in San Diego. That's Carmel Valley. Miguel, tell me about Carmel Valley.
Carmel Valley was a tiny little community just outside of, north of Del Mar, well, not east of Del Mar, north of La Jolla. We moved in, actually I lived there. We moved there in 1991. Of course, as a realtor, we lived in La Costa before, and I would always take my car when the babies were around. They would keep my wife awake all night. Then in the morning, I would wake up and everybody would be asleep, and they would wake up maybe at 10 o'clock in the morning and say, okay, what am I going to do? So I would go and explore communities. I stumbled into Carmel Valley, and back then there were just hills and hills and hills, and there was a little creek, which is Carmel Creek. And I stumbled into a gated community there. What is this? And I was able to swoop right behind another car that's coming in. Turns out to be a little gated community with a little golf course. Oh, I love this. Of course, at that time, We were young. We didn't have any money. I thought, okay, I'm going to live here one of these days. I go up the hills and I look down the hills, and you could just see hills and hills everywhere you go. There were I would take my mountain bike and ride where now I think the Fairmont Hotel is. They were growing beans. There were bees out there, coyotes, and there was nothing. So we ended up buying. After all, we ended up buying in that little complex, and little by little it started growing. There was back then it was called North City West. There were only a couple of complexes there. And there was this fight. They didn't want it to grow like everything in San Diego, and there was always a resistance to growth. But slowly but surely, the big parties, the big developers started buying parcels of land. There's a lot of canyons out there. It's still, thank God to this date, it's still crisscrossed with canyons. There's Penasquitos Canyon, of course. But there's lots of canyons, and there's beautiful hiking trails even to date all along there. But it started growing, and of course, with back in the mid 2000s, that's when big classes started going up. You know, my kids would go and play and meet at the Del Mar Highlands, which is our little local shopping center. Now afterwards I would tell my kids, watch it, kids, because next time you open the door, now you're going to be banging against a Ferrari, because they started building, $5-6 million homes. It grew a lot. But it grew well. They did a good planning, but more towards the up and up. Another phenomenon was High Bluff Drive.
Right.
High Bluff, what happens with High Bluff Drive, some attorneys started putting their offices here because they would go, those who bought in Carmel Valley would have to go all the way downtown and deal with the traffic coming back up. Well, they started building along High Bluff Drive. And I think nowadays, it's we have more law firms on High Bluff Drive than there are in downtown.
That's my office on High Bluff.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, there you go.
There
So
we go.
we have both accounting offices, financial advisors. So that also triggered a lot more growth within Carmel Valley. The latest phenomenon in Carmel Valley is One Paseo.
Paseo, yep.
One Paseo, we had the developers come to our office. They had some interesting projects, and there's one thing that Carmel Valley didn't have was a community center where, aside from the mall, where would people gather? Like you see in other cities in the east, back east, just a place of reunion. So One Paseo offered that.
Right.
The problem with that is that they wanted to have a huge stand. Say, okay, we'll put a little downtown plaza and places to gather in, but we're going to build a huge building next to it, and the community reacted a little bit to that.
It took a little while to get it going. Yeah.
So they met somewhere in the middle. So we didn't get all the open space and community gathering place that we needed or wanted. But again, it ended up working well. It had a rough start because of COVID, of course, but now you just can't find a place to park.
It's a great addition to Carmel Valley, and the fact that, like you said, Carmel Valley has such a history and such a beautiful landscape. You're close to everything, and now they've got One Paseo. Fabulous place to be, fabulous place to live.
Yeah.
Miguel, thanks so much for coming on, telling everybody in our neighborhood about one of the best places to live. Everybody else, Discover San Diego. We'll see you next week. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Frank Granis. Frank, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
We know San Diego. We love San Diego. We hope
do.
you love San Diego as well. And that's why we're talking about some of the best enclaves here. And Frank, we were talking a little bit about Del Mar. Tell me about Del Mar.
Of the beach.
Of the beach.
You like my Spanish? No, Del Mar is truly not just one of the best in San Diego. It's one of the best in the world. One of the best towns in the world, bar none.
Where the surf meets the turf.
Yeah.
What's your favorite restaurant?
There are so many. But if it was more of, really want to pull out the stops and just have a great night, I would go to the hotel, the L'Auberge. I'm sure you've been there.
I love it.
Awesome restaurant, outside looking at the beach or looking at the ocean. You can then roll back into the lobby area that's just been remodeled and is awesome. You can hear music. You can have such a great night that you say, oh, let's just get a room and just stay overnight. It feels that good there.
That's a favorite by far. One of the one of the best spots out there. Now, people have options when they're looking for real estate there.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? On the beach or away near the track? What's your favorite?
My personal favorite is Old Del Mar, up on the hills, overlooking the water, so you get a little more perspective of the town and the water and the ocean. You can still hear the ocean roar. That's just me personally. But if I had 20 million and I wanted to, buff it out, I wouldn't complain that I'd be right on the sand. That's fine too.
There's nothing wrong with 20 million on the sand. That's correct.
Yeah.
And it is per capita one of the more expensive places in San Diego. But what's your favorite spot about it that everybody can visit?
Yeah, whether you're living there and doing it day to day or just visiting to give it a trial run. I just love being on the beach, right, all the way from Dog Beach, really, which is right at kind of the north end of things, and then walking, the tides allowing it,
Right.
walking all the way down to the south part of all the way down towards Carmel Valley Road,
Right.
and getting into Torrey Pines State Reserve. That whole walk or run or whatever you want to do is, you have to pinch yourself, really. I live here. This is my neighborhood.
Absolutely fabulous. It's breathtaking there. The imagery and the vision. If you need to get grounded, that's where you want to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Frank, thanks so much for joining us. I hope everybody learned a little bit, something, got a great picture in their head of Del Mar. And you tune in next week. We'll see you then.
Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Valley, and we're here with Melissa Tucci. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, you're going to tell us a little bit about University Heights.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about
What
it.
do you have going on there?
So, University Heights is one of my favorite neighborhoods, and it's actually where my office is located that I'm actually building from the ground up. And just a little background of University Heights, it really was developed in the early 1900s, back when the trolley barn used to go through Adams Avenue. So there's a trolley barn park named after that. There also is, right at the end of Park Boulevard and Adams Avenue, used to be where there was basically ostriches running free in an ostrich farm, and women in the early 1900s used to take an ostrich feather and wear it in their hat, and they were considered more prominent. So if you drive through University Heights, there's different pillars where it says welcome to University Heights and plaques, and on there is a large river rock, which actually symbolizes an ostrich egg. So just some fun history on University Heights. But in early 2000s, I purchased an office, Craftsman property at Park and Monroe. And then in 2015, I purchased another property, long story short, right next to each other on the corner, tore both of them down, and am in the current process of building a 30,000 square foot mixed use property. So it's going to have a restaurant. It's going to have 7,000 square feet of office space, which my office will be in, and then 5 townhomes that we're going to keep as vacation rentals. So I'm really invested personally in the area as well. And the area is completely blowing up in the past 5 years. There's a project right on the corner of El Cajon Boulevard and Park, over 650 units with like 2 breweries, a CVS going in. Those developers paid over $37 million for that lot. So you have Madison Restaurant, which is a great restaurant, Park House Eatery. You have Lestat's, which is a great internet coffee shop that serves food as well. You have a new rooftop deck restaurant called Kairoa. There's also Plumeria, which is a vegetarian restaurant. So just so much walkability, so many restaurants. There's a gelato place, pot pie place. So really just, I'm in the heart of it all. I absolutely love it. It's a great opportunity for investment, great place to live, great place to have rentals. So I can't say enough about it. It's really one of, the earlier 1900s hot spots in San Diego.
Yeah, it's a really fun place to be. I just had dinner there the other night, and then we went and kind of visited the local bar scene. And
Yes.
it is an up and coming neighborhood. It's already
Yeah, it's already established,
but it's
just
popular.
getting more and more popular, and it really started getting its big popularity, I would say, about 5 to 7 years ago, but it's just booming now. So it's just an incredible location.
Well, congrats on the construction.
Yes, thank
Can't
you.
wait to see a finished product.
Yes.
And all your successes and see that grow even more with what you're doing there. It's really cool.
Yes, thank you so much. I
Of course.
appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Heather Wenlat. Heather, good to see you.
Jason. Good to see you.
So back here on Discover San Diego, we know San Diego. We love San Diego. We hope you love San Diego as well. And one of the great things about San Diego is all the enclaves that we have. And Heather is an expert at Del Sur. So I want her to take a couple minutes to talk to us about what's your favorite part about Del Sur.
So Del Sur is in North County Inland. It's in the 92127 zip code. Although that zip code also has Forest Ranch, Westwood. This specifically is Black Mountain Ranch, Del Sur. And it's about 3,000 homes. This master plan community started in 2006. It was the whole forefront of the LEEDs environmental construction kind of movement, if you will. So there is a lot of environmental sustainability and thought that went into the construction of the whole Del Sur community as well, Santa Luz, but I'm going to talk about Del Sur. There are 14 parks, which makes it I'm going to argue the only community in San Diego that has 14 HOA parks. 11 of them have a hot tub and a pool. So it's pretty awesome. And when I moved to Del Sur, I came from Sorrento Valley, here basically, and I had no idea, what's this Del Sur? And I went and I drove through it, and it was just so beautiful. The pride of ownership. The elementary school was just right on the main drag, which is called Paseo del Sur. It's just the prettiest elementary school. And because I have a daughter, and I thought, oh my God, this is the perfect place for her to go to school, and a perfect place for a family that wants to, grow in Del Sur.
It's gorgeous landscaping over there. I mean, by far, not just the parks, but that whole backdrop of scenery. You're back, all wilderness almost all around.
Yes. Yep. 25 acres of canyon. I go hiking in the canyon. You always get people, oh no, there's a rattlesnake. I never see them, but I know they exist. Yeah. So basically, if you see Black Mountain, which has the antennas on top, it's right on the base of that.
And school district wise, you were talking about families and having kids. Probably one of the best areas,
yes,
school district wise.
Yep. So Del Sur has Del Sur Elementary, and then it feeds into Oak Valley, which is the middle school, which also Santa Luz and Forest Ranch feed into, and then Del Norte High School, which is number 2 in San Diego. Del Sur Elementary is within the top 10 in San Diego in terms of elementary schools. So it's Poway Unified. We also have Design 39, which is basically a public charter school, which means there's a lottery to get in. However, it feeds from the 92127, basically Forest Ranch, Santa Luz, Del Sur are the ones that can go to that school.
That school is one of the main specific things I hear about people talk about when they talk about Del Sur. It's not just the wilderness or the master plan community.
Yep.
It's not just being a couple minutes from the beach or everywhere and how gorgeous that place is, but that school is so interesting. So the fact that you're able to navigate all that wonderfulness there, it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's great.
Before I wrap it up, just one quick question. What's your favorite place to eat in Del Sur?
Besides my house, I would say probably Piacere Mio or Ponce's.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, you heard it here first. Heather was able to guide us through a wonderful tour and image of Del Sur. We can't wait to have you back. Discover San Diego. We'll see you next week. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Katie Pond. Katie, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me, Jason.
So we know San Diego. We love San Diego. We
Yes,
want
we
our
do.
audience to love San Diego as well. And one of the great things about San Diego are these beautiful enclaves like Encinitas. Katie, you live in Encinitas. Tell me a little bit about Encinitas.
Encinitas is just an amazing place to live. It's an amazing place to work. My office is also in Encinitas. We've raised our family there. It's just a quintessential Southern California beach town with its roots in surf culture, funky art, great food scene, and the thing I love about it is just community.
Community is a great word for there. It has that special downtown, kind of like some of the other cities. What's your favorite restaurant there?
Oh my gosh, there's some new ones popping up. I'm a huge fan of Urban Sea. Their cocktails and food are incredible. There's so many good ones. It just depends. That's the dangerous part of having my office down there is
Yeah,
constantly going out to lunch, coffee.
Realtors Thursday, Realtor Friday, absolutely.
That's right. But so many, I mean, great pizza places, Corner Pizza, Pandora's reopening up and relaunching, some new places opening up. So it's just, I mean, it's a great place to be.
What about real estate? The great thing about Encinitas, I hear, is that you have two sides. You have the coastal side and you have the inland side. Talk to me about the differences and how you navigate, your favorite parts.
So I think it really, finding your place in Encinitas is really kind of what you're all about, what your family's all about. You have your hardcore people that want to be as close to the coast as possible. I fall into that category, willing to give up anything really to just be that much closer to the ocean. And then you have your people who are into equestrian, want more of an estate style home, want space, want to raise chickens and all that. Right. They're in Olivenhain. And then you have just so many great little suburban areas, great school system. And really nothing's that far from the beach. So you can't really go wrong, but it just depends on what your family needs are.
Absolutely. I really appreciate a lot of that good insight because you're right. You can go everywhere from equestrian to surfer, not only in the same day, but in the same town.
Absolutely. Yep.
Katie, thanks so much for joining us on here. Audience, make sure you stay tuned next week. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Steve Wenner. Steve, good to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Everybody, Discover San Diego. We know San Diego. We love San Diego. We hope you love San Diego as well. And today, Steve and I were talking a little bit about Fallbrook. And Steve, some very interesting spots in Fallbrook that are fabulous. Tell me a little bit about it.
So first of all, I'm a resident of Fallbrook. So, moved there at the end of 2020 and basically lived in Oceanside for a while during the pandemic. We decided we wanted more space. So my wife and I found an acreage property. And we fell in love with Fallbrook. It's quiet, it's quaint, it has its own little universe in there, I'll call it. But what I found is that part of it is not for everyone. But Fallbrook as a whole, the people, the community, I was like, okay, what else do we have? Where's the diversity? And there's a newer subdivision that got built just before 2020. It's called Horse Creek Ridge. And it's just this little gem that keeps developing. So if you've ever driven up to Temecula on the right-hand side of the 15, just as you pass or around the 76 freeway, you'll see it all over there, this like incredible community that got built. So it's like all of a sudden this thing got plopped on the side of a hillside and it became a fascinating, affordable community. And that's the thing. That's a big part of the draw for me is the affordability for newer construction. And there's 5 different subdivisions in there, a clubhouse, like it's endless. My daughters are actually playing soccer at this big giant sports field that they have over there as well. So we love it.
And you talked about acreage, and I do hear that a lot about Fallbrook. Are you getting a lot of acreage, or do you have a diversity of you can get everything from a townhome to a big single family over there?
So in Horse Creek Ridge, it'll be more like a planned urban development, right? Like newer construction that you'll see just about anywhere. So again, different strokes, different folks, right, depending on what you want. But the nice part about this community is it's along the 15. Where we live, we're like 8 or 9 minutes into Fallbrook. And again, location, some it's okay, some not so okay. But this particular community is nestled right along the 15.
And so in terms of commute, I mean, you're 20 minutes to the beach, you're 30 minutes downtown. I mean, what's the best part about it that you see for your residents?
So because you're along the 15, you have the corridors and you're right at the 76. So depending on if you want to go east-west, north-south, it's right there. To get to the beach will be around 20 minutes-ish. To get downtown, as they say, it depends on traffic, right? But it could take you about 40 minutes to get downtown from that location. But it's the affordability of new construction that you don't see anywhere. They literally have apartment-style condos starting in the low 400s. Wow. Tell me where you can find that in San Diego right now.
I don't know anywhere where you can find that in San Diego. Not for new construction
at all. Absolutely. And they have 3,000 square foot plus, that's the max size, for right around $1 million. Where if you want 3,000 square feet of new construction, I'll cough a few times and I'll make up some numbers, but they're not $1 million, not for new construction.
I love it. This is the great thing about Discover San Diego, about finding areas and niches that you just didn't know about, yep, where people are loving life, loving where they live. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in this week. We'll catch you next week. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Randy Castle. How you doing, Randy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to see you again.
Good to see you.
We know San Diego. We love San Diego. We want our audience to love San Diego as well. So one of the great things about San Diego is its little enclaves, its little towns. Talk to me a little bit about National City.
So, National City is the second oldest city in San Diego. It actually is second to Old Town. A lot of the properties there are older. You have some beautiful, huge Victorians. Some of those were, owned by the mayor at one point, and even the owner of Walmart. So, yes. So some really cool history there, and then there's lots of it's coastal. It's a coastal community,
Right.
and so you have that nice climate. You don't have the high beach prices that are there, so still very affordable for having that coastal climate. Also, there is a lot of food. And they just opened up a Market on 8th, which is kind of a mixing pot, melting pot of all these different kinds of cuisines. National City also has part of 32nd Street as the naval base right there. So National City is very dynamic and culturally diverse as well. So those flavors really show through in a lot of the food. You'll see.
Do you have a favorite restaurant over there?
I do have quite a few of them. So if you are looking for a great prime rib, Cafe La Maze has been home to many a movie stars back in the day. So it's a great steakhouse, and it's more of your upscale dining. They got some music. They have, a little bar there. That's really nice. And then Market on 8th has a lot of that culturally diverse food. And then there's also tacos. Who doesn't like
love
tacos? Right?
I love tacos.
Yeah, lots and lots of tacos. So lots of tacos, lots of different taco shops that are located there, like Tacos LG and all of that yummy.
The fact that it's one of the hidden gems on the bay,
Yes.
which nobody considers, it was what makes it one of those great spots, not only to go shop, go eat, go to parks.
Yes,
But also-
lots of parks. Even right there on the water, there's actually a boat ramp, so you can enter into the bay from your boat. There's fishing. There's a pier. Nobody knew that National City had a pier.
Nobody knew that.
So yeah, and it's a port community. So the Port of San Diego actually has their commission there as well.
This is the kind of information that our audience need to know. They need to know that San Diego has a lot more than just the name. There's so many hidden gems out there. Randy, thanks so much for joining
you.
us, telling our audience about why we love San Diego. Everybody else, tune in next week to Discover San Diego. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with the wonderful Zariah. Zariah, good to see you.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going fabulous, and I want to talk to everybody about all the enclaves in San Diego, especially because, we know San Diego, we love San Diego, and we want our audience to love San Diego as well. And today, we've got a special place, special to my heart as well as your heart. Tell me about Ocean Hills Country Club.
Ocean Hills Country Club is the gem. AGU is a 55-plus community. And, first when I moved there 7 years ago, I thought, I'm too young for this, because I was not 55. But once I got there, I'm like, I love this place because it's like you always take your kids to camp. They enjoy camp at the pool, tennis, pickleball, and you sit there going back to work and do nothing. Well, this is camp mom and dad. Because you get to have the pool, you get to have the tennis courts, you have to have the pickleball, you have the golf. We have lessons, we have parties, and it doesn't matter if you're not retired yet. There's still plenty of time and activities that you can do. But it's so nice to have a 20,000 square foot clubhouse with a gym. Have two gyms, one for weights and one for cardio. You have a ballroom for 260 people. Every week there is a party there. Every week I can go to a party dancing, which I love dancing. So, if you love that, that's great. It has all of these other rooms. You have movie night, sewing club, wood shops. I mean, everything that you want, that you think you wanted to do, it's there. So it makes it a lot easier. as you progress, getting older, maybe you don't want to drive anymore. Why drive? Everything is there. All the friends are there. It's a community also, because when someone needs help, the community is there to help.
You know what? I have so many stories because both my grandparents and now my parents live in there, so it's very near and dear to my heart. But just focus on the community. In addition, like you've told me, guard gated. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody is so close in there. There's so many groups, so many friend groups. If you need something, there are people out there that can help you, look out for you. And then, shopping, restaurants, everything's close by.
For those out there who like wine, there's 15 wine clubs, and there's always growing. And there's a beer club. There's a poker club. I mean, it really is. People plan a vacation for like a month to go on a cruise. This is the cruise that you're in it for 365 days. All we need is a restaurant, but yeah.
It's fabulous real estate, and it's an absolute gem of a community, just a couple minutes from the beach in Oceanside.
You know what is great is that it's about 4 to 5 miles from the ocean, so we get the sun and not the gray, but we get the breeze and not the heat. So that even makes it super nice. And we have a lot of homes that have ocean view, which is, you wouldn't think us, we're about 5 miles away, but we have this beautiful ocean views. And
it's a great community, and it's so great to have not only a real estate expert, but a homeowner on here to talk about it. So, Zariah, thank you very much for all that information. Hey, everybody, Discover San Diego. This is where you find those best enclaves. Stay tuned for next week. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Discover San Diego. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Quinn Vu. Quinn, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So, we know San Diego. We love San Diego. We hope you love San Diego as well. And this week, Quinn and I are talking about Rancho Penasquitos.
Yep.
Quinn, tell me a little bit about what you love about Rancho Penasquitos.
So Rancho Penasquitos is known as PQ to the locals. Some of the things I really like about Rancho Penasquitos is definitely the school district. It's in Poway Unified. And when my husband and I were debating where in San Diego we're going to move to when we moved here from Texas, one of the things that we looked for is what are the top school districts in all of San Diego. San Diego's pretty big, so we saw that Poway Unified was one of the best, and that was really the draw for us.
Right. It's ranked number 1 or 2 in San Diego and ranked as well throughout the state. Is that correct?
Yeah, like they have some nationally ranked high schools, and it's pretty awesome. The other thing that we really liked about Rancho Penasquitos is the fact that you can get to the beach and get downtown pretty quickly. In like 15, 20 minutes, you can get to a lot of different places by getting on the 56 or the 15. So that was important to us.
When in terms about looking for a place to live in PQ, is there a wide variety? Is it mostly condos or apartments or large homes? Like, what do you tend to see out there?
We will see like a variety. We'll see some condos, single family homes predominantly, some townhomes. When we were looking for a neighborhood, we wanted to be in an area that was close to the school in the event, like if we wanted to walk to school. So there's a lot of great small communities even within Rancho Penasquitos, which is nice. And yeah, it's been great because a lot of times, like if you live kind of close to the school, that's where you end up having soccer practice or whatever type of practice you're at. So the kids get to see their buddies and it's not too far, especially if you are planning to put your kids in a lot of activities. It's kind of nice for everything to be close.
These are all great points. I got one final question to you about PQ. You talked about living there. We talked about schools and activities for the kids. Restaurants.
I think that there's some cute like coffee shops. I love House of Black, which is like in that Sabre Springs area. That's probably like my favorite coffee shop. And I love getting, what is the drink I get? It's like the Kingslayer. It's like some cinnamon and a little bit of honey. It's really good. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, not really known for restaurants, which it's more of a suburban area, which is nice. If we don't, we eat more at home, with like the kids, but if we do want to go out, we'll probably like go down to like Mira Mesa, which is like 10 or 15 minutes away. And that's kind of what we want. We didn't really want to live by like a bunch of big restaurants anyhow. So it's kind of perfect for us. It's mainly, it's also really pretty when you drive through Rancho Penasquitos because you can see Black Mountain and a lot of like pretty scenic hills and views in the area.
That's right. It has great hillside, great scenic areas, close to the beach, close to downtown, close to restaurants, great schools, plenty of activities and areas to go for your kids. I love it. Quinn, thanks so much for your feedback. Everybody, you heard it here on Discover San Diego. Take care. That's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching. A special thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Escrow, Everything Creative Design, and Golden West Management. We know San Diego, we love San Diego, and we want you to love it too.